record and absorb the subculture.
Hey there, everybody! Welcome to Midnight Cherry TV for another episode within the Flying Sparks week. We got this is the second episode. We are not doing a comic under candlelight. We've decided that a comic under candlelight for trades is kind of a little bit too long for my taste. So we are doing this overall Cherry Talks Flying Sparks. We're going to look at the perks here. We got this pinup, this bookmark, and the book, of course. This soft trade. We did not get the hardcover, but so of course Flying Sparks, controversial within the Comicsgate community, which is where this comes from originally. But Flying Sparks by Jon Del Arroz. We could take a look at the first page here. There's the cover. The cover is by John Malin of Marvel fame, as well as Jawbreakers, which we are waiting for as well here at the station. But and there's John's signature, and then there's the credits. You got story Jon Del Arroz, art Jethro Morales, colors by Shannon Ho, letters James Reed, and the cover John Malin, Brett R. Smith. So Brett R. Smith with the colors, pretty good pop there with the colors. Now, actually, before I get started with the book, I figured we'll take a look at the perks here real quick. But number one, we got this bookmark. Now, the bookmark is just a promotional bookmark. We looked at it in the unboxing. It's really for another one of John's books. So from 2017 is when that's from. So just an easy bookmark. It's really just kind of a throw-in. It's really not a perk or anything, kind of bonus, really. But one of the nicer features, though, is this pinup, guys. This pinup, which is done by Tim Lim, featuring a little bunny rabbit there of Chloe Flying Sparks, Meta Girl, as she's known. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hot take here. When I started to look at these next to each other, I actually like this cover more. I think, as a straight heteronormative man or whatever, just to look at the body, I think this Meta Girl looks a little rough, a little masculine, in my opinion. She's got she's busty. She's got a short skirt. She looks a little thick, but this version very feminine. I think if you look at her face, if you look at the faces compared there, as well as the boobage, of course, is vastly different there. I think prefer this one, but I think the colors work real well. I think the colors on the cover pop out, but I think a cover could maybe be a little more dynamic for sure. But I do like it maybe as a pinup. I think they're both pinups to me, in my opinion. They're not really either of them are covers, but both good. I prefer this one. I like the way she looks. She looks a little more inviting, a little more feminine. This is a little more action packed and sort of straight to the punch. And especially for the content of the book, in terms of her character, she is a very girly character. She is a fighter, but she is it is a romance book. But we can frame this and then hang this up on the wall. We can get that done here. Get that achieved here on Midnight Cherry TV, of course. But so we got that. Put the glass on there. Got a little bit of tape to keep that on there. Pop that in there, guys. Then we'll hang this up on the wall. Hopefully that stays up there, guys. We can actually take a quick look up there right now. Might as well. But of course, the Ferryman poster and the Blue Mamba poster, and oh boy, that is a bit of a glare there. We can maybe see if we can't focus in a little bit better there. Yeah, a bit of a glare issue there on the placement of the Flying Sparks poster. But yeah, looking good next to the Blue Mamba poster with the Joker poster, of course, in there as well. So a good time. Let me pull this back out. Hopefully you don't got vertigo. But it is the Flying Sparks review, so it might be a little loose for some. It might be a little too wild and woolly here on Midnight Cherry TV. But yeah, back to the book here. And Flying Sparks, something I wanted to take a look at, I had a little bit of an issue with here, was the quality of the printing of the book. So if you notice, I don't know if you noticed, because you don't see another comic next to you. Now, we got a glossy cover, and it is a cardstock, which is nice. The printing inside is a little bit, it's just a regular kind of paper stock, not a glossy. But it is full color, which of course is nice. Of course, we can talk about the book in a little bit. But in comparison, I wanna show you Iron Sights here. So Iron Sights, of course, had that matte finish, and it was just regular paper stock as well, right? Similar paper stock, but this is a traditional comic book size. Flying Sparks is not. Flying Sparks is sort of a magazine sort of oversized print. It's sort of almost like it's not cut to a normal comic size, so it's not gonna it's almost like an old Silver Age size, so it's a little bit larger than maybe your normal book, which can be problematic depending on your how you store your comics, how you store your trades. It might be popping out on the shelf, but then comparing both of these to something like Transmetropolitan, which I'm a fan of. We've got a very hard cardstock, and then sort of a pretty high quality print. So that's the thing. These are both a good starting point. I'm very excited. I'm excited, to see where both go. I have my issues. I have my issues with both books, but we'll talk about Flying Sparks. We talked about Iron Sights before, but again, both books, I think, value-wise, I think are a little overpriced for what you receive. But I think both books are sort of they're good starting points. I think they both Iron Sights in terms of where we'll see Richard C. Meyer go, and Flying Sparks in terms of where the story goes of Flying Sparks. But just to flip through this, it is sort of a love story between a heroine, Meta Girl, as well as the villain, Johnny, who is her boyfriend, as well as some characters here. We got but let me flip through this here just to show you a little bit of the artwork. And it definitely starts off slow. It definitely, I will say that, there's a little bit of that action scene, but then, it becomes very dialogue heavy at the beginning. But as the book progresses, when you start meeting the villain and you start meeting Meta Guy, I believe, or Meta Guy, but there's the colors by Sanju Navangwi and letters by James Reed on this one. But yeah, it's a love story. It's a violent love story. Superheroes, sort of the heroine and villain kind of fall in love. But it's sort of the build up to that. It's not the full book. Now, by the end of the book, it's definitely a cliffhanger. There's definitely, if you want the full story, you're going to have to get the next part for sure. It's definitely only kind of a dipping your toe into the story. But here's a good part, was the sort of Rhino Juggernaut-esque sort of villain that kind of wreaks havoc on the medical facility that's going on there where he was tested on. But we'll keep flipping through this. There's Flying Sparks, Meta Girl flying through space. Now she doesn't have superhero DNA or anything like that. She has anti-gravity boots. She has a sort of silent professor expert. Now here's the Meta Guy. Meta Man or whatever, I believe. I always forget his name. But yeah, looking pretty badass, stopping this guy pretty easily. Sort of the Superman character of the universe. But overall the book of course starts out a little stuff, but it is a solid book. There's one of the alternate covers. It's probably, I'm not a big fan of this alternate cover. It's a little bit it's very different than everything else. Like you have this the cover and you have the story, and then this kind of shoots out there, but I guess that is by Manuel Ortiz Torres and Will Callaghan. It's not, it is what it is. It's he's given some work to some guys. I'm not, if you're comparing this guy to that guy, it definitely looks different. It's definitely very stylized. I'll give it that. It's very stylized. But yeah, I mean, then you got the old professor here who creates her ray gun, creates her shock spark stick, as well as her anti gravity boots. But overall, it was a fun book. It was a fun book. By the end of it, it felt like it needed more. I felt like I was definitely, I felt I definitely needed more. But especially, for the price. But it is what it is. I mean, you pay the price of the crowdfund, and you get what you get. And I did enjoy the book. It was a fun sort of overall superhero story. It wasn't. It's not going to rewrite anything like a lot of the books that we've checked out so far, which is okay. But guys, that was Flying Sparks review here at Midnight Cherry TV. Hopefully you liked it, or maybe you didn't. Whatever you thought, let me know what you thought of the book in the comments. We enjoyed it, and it started out a little slow, very dialogue heavy, but then it kind of found its way. It got very action, and it kind of made me want to know what was going on next for sure. Especially in terms of the scientist and sort of the thief, the master thief angle that kind of comes into play in the book. Which, if you've read the book, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but yeah, there's a whole angle there with Buxton, which I believe owns the kind of giant company that the sort of Juggernaut-esque character comes from. But yeah, guys, that was Flying Sparks review for Midnight Cherry TV. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that kind of stuff. Leave a good comment, and we'll see you again for another review, another chit chat on a book. But again, this has been Midnight Cherry TV for Flying Sparks. Cherry Talks Flying Sparks, and we'll see you again for another book review. See you guys.